Hello. Hi there, everybody. I'm Rahelwa, and it's been a little bit of time since I've been on again with my Songcatching series. This is Songcatching episode number 12, and we're getting along. This series is about writing songs, catching songs, and about music, about the musical life, storytelling, just about living life through music. So it's called Songcatching. Hi! It's called Songcatching after a poem by an Native American Indian poet named Arlie Escahi, I believe. And I have a link. I'll have a link in all of my episodes. There's a link to his poem. It's a beautiful poem about where do the songs come from. And basically the songs come from beyond, somewhere beyond. And we as songwriters or artists or whatever we happen to be, it's our job in this physical world to capture those songs from the essence out there and bring them through us and share them with each other. So that's why it's called song catching. And today, every episode, I share a song, one of the songs that I've caught, that I put my name to. I don't feel that I write them all. Many of them are caught, gifted to me, and so I share them with you in this way. Together we will look at them and try and figure out what they're all about, because I don't always know myself. Hello everybody, thank you for joining. A little bit about me. Miguk saram imnida, miguk saram iyeo. I'm from America. Karigo Yisrael iyeo. I'm also from Israel, and so many of these songs came when I lived in Israel, and I went to Israel in 1976 as a tourist and ended up staying there until 1998. 22 years, where the first 11 years were spent living a wonderful musical life, performing and writing and playing with absolutely amazing musicians that you can find in Israel, taking in the cultures, all the different cultures, the sounds, the rhythms. And my music actually kind of is as a fusion of that. I started out as from the folk world, the 1960s, 70s revival of folk music in the East Coast, in Boston area. And that's basically what I consider myself as a folk singer, songwriter. But you know, when you live in different places, the cultures kind of infiltrate it into your style. So I don't know what I am anymore, but my style is pretty much a finger-picking style. I use a thumb pick. The reason why I use a thumb pick is because I like to accent the bass notes on the guitar. And some people will grow their nail very long. I prefer the thumb pick. So the song I'm going to start with today is called It Isn't Fair. It's from 1997. Now by 1997 I was married with 2 children, and I was raising my 2 children, and we had gone through some rough times. And my children were feeling the effects of that. And I know that it seemed that the world was kind of a bad place, a difficult place. Not really teaching guitar, but as part of this series, I show you how I'm playing guitar. But I do teach guitar if you want to learn. Please contact me and I'll be happy to show you teach guitar. I used to teach guitar as my work, so I'm certainly qualified to do that. If you want to learn, just shoot me an email or shoot me a DM or PM or whatever they're called these days. So yes, I can teach guitar, but right now I share what I do. My style is a little bit about music. So I was saying that this song was written in 1997. It was kind of inspired by my daughter who was having a hard time. And I just wanted to let her know that, she wasn't alone. It's very difficult when it seems like things suddenly that were good suddenly go bad in your life. And you need someone to help you out of it. So I wanted to be that person for her. It was very difficult. So I'm going to sing this song and then we'll see what it says. It isn't fair. It isn't fair, feeling all alone and so down. It isn't fair when the world seems to crumble to pieces on the ground. Dry your eyes, look at me. I am here for you, listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. It isn't fair so cold. It isn't fair when a heart so young feels so old. Dry your eyes, look at me. I am here for you, listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. Dry your eyes, look at me. I am here for you, listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. Hold me. lots of thoughts go through my mind when I sing those lyrics. I think about today, you know, with COVID, Corona, everybody is kind of having a hard time, and we're separated, and how are we feeling about that? What's going on? Some of us are going crazy, some of us are not, some of us are okay, being kind of holed up, and we're finding ways to stay connected. Does it feel like the world is crumbling to the ground? Does it feel like your world is falling apart? Let's look at the lyrics. Part of songwriting, songcatching, is capturing those lyrics and trying to figure out what they're about. So musically, well, let's talk about lyrics. It isn't fair. Isn't fair. Feeling all alone and so down. It isn't fair when the world seems to crumble to pieces on the ground. Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. There's a lot of times you say, it isn't fair. Even a little kid goes, Mom, it's not fair. Well, life isn't always fair. Life is very often not fair. You know, I read a book once and it said, the first line was enough for me to just, you know, I didn't even need to read the book after that. The first line was, life is difficult. When you figure that out, then you can live fine. Something like that. So, it isn't fair, feeling all alone and so down. No, it's not fair. It doesn't feel fair to be alone. It isn't fair when the world seems to crumble to pieces on the ground. It doesn't seem fair at all. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you, listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. Dry your eyes. Don't cry. I'm here for you. There's somebody else here to support you. Somebody, you're not alone. Somebody is always there. Listening. Listening is so important. Are you a person who listens or are you a person who talks? I know a lot of people who are listeners, but I know a lot more people who are talkers. And listening, there is something called the art of listening. I should put it in my box below. The art of listening. It's a true art, it's a true skill to really listen to somebody. And I've been scolded by friends. That, you know, they were telling me their problems, their worries, their concerns, and I thought they wanted to hear some advice from me, so I offered some advice, and they got angry at me and said, I didn't want any advice, I just wanted you to listen. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody and have a shoulder to lean on, so you just need to listen, you just need to be there. They just want somebody by their side. So I learned an important lesson from my friend. And I used to be a really good listener, but I guess that changed. So I need to learn how to be a listener again. How to be, but not just, you know, sit by your side and space out while somebody's talking. Really listen to them. Really listen and care and concern with intent. That's difficult to do. Listening and loving you. Listening and loving you. Yeah. Offer your love. Offer your love to somebody. Unconditionally. With no strings attached. You know? Just be there. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. When my children were young and they were having a hard time, back then they said, you know, there was this sort of like big cure-all called the hug. And it was a 1-minute hug. And it meant that you would hug somebody for a full minute or more. Because if you just hug for a short time, okay, that's okay. But when you hug for a full minute, some magic happens. Something magical happens while you're holding someone that close. And it's really important for young children to have that caring hug, that long hug, to know that somebody really cares and is listening. And it's not just for young children, it's for adults and especially older people who find themselves alone after living, you know, a very extensive life. I've worked in senior homes, and who touches them? Who hugs them? Who cares for them? People who have cared for other people all their lives, and suddenly they find themselves alone. People have died, children have grown and gone, and who's going to give them a big hug? Who's going to care for them? A 1-minute hug. Wow, so I tried it. And at first, my children were squirming. They didn't want to be like hugged and held close. But eventually they calmed down, and I hope it helped them. If you're listening, kids, you can tell me. I hope it helped you. I hope they'll apply it to their kids and their loved ones and their spouses and whoever, their friends even, just friends, just hold you. So you're not alone, hold me, dear. It isn't fair growing up in a world that feels so cold. It isn't fair when a heart so young feels so old. The world kind of feels cold. Does it feel cold now when you're not able to spend actual close time with friends and family? Does it feel cold just communicating like this through the internet, through a computer, a cell phone? Does it feel cold? Do people ignore you? Do you have any are people feeling close to you? Are you giving of yourself to other people? Lots of questions, lots of concerns. How do we find intimacy? How do we find closeness in today's crazy world? It isn't fair when a heart so young feels so old. This was addressed to a child, but even at my age, I feel like I have a young heart. I fall in love very easily. I like a little child, like a teenager, like a person in her 20s. I fall in love like, wow, I love to fall in love. So but a young person who is feeling so old from weariness, from life, from whatever life has thrown at them, that's pretty sad when a young heart feels so old. So they really need us, they really need that 1-minute hug. They really need your shoulder just to lean on. They just really need someone to be by their side. I see that in the Korean dramas all the time. Just stay by my side. I used to think that was a funny expression. Be by my side. Stay by my side. But it's nice to know that there are people there for you. Friends and family who are going to be there when you're feeling so down. Or even when you're feeling good. Sometimes you just want to share the good things. I often want to share the good things. I often do share the good things, actually. And I hope it's okay. I don't, Dry your eyes, look at me. I am here for you. Listening and loving you. I wrote this when my voice was higher, apparently. So, dry your eyes. Thank you, thank you. She says I speak well. Thank you very much. Dry your eyes, look at me. I am here for you. Listening and loving you. You're not alone, hold me dear. I said that already. We talked about that. It's a pretty simple, straightforward song. I don't think there's a lot that, is hidden there. It's not very mystical, not very metaphorical. It's pretty straightforward. It just says what it says, So, musically, on the guitar, it's in the key of D, D, G, A. Then it goes kind of a little bass run, D to a C sharp. That's what I call a bass run. And there's one part where it kind of changes to give some emphasis Most of the time it's played on, this song is played on the higher range. It's really just D, G, A, G. But when you play it on the high range, so it's got a special effect, of course. It's kind of delicate, kind of gentle, kind of childlike in a way. And then it moves on to a lower range, a little bit that run. You're not alone. Hold me dear. Goes into a regular mid-range, you know, the sort of standard place on the guitar. And the second time the chorus comes around, it's got some really good support. Using the fuller chords with a full bass in there. So you've got this sound going. D, E minor 7th, F minor 7th, F sharp minor 7th, G. Going back to the F sharp in the bass and the G, E minor 7th, A suspended 4th, and A 7th. And then it goes back up to the top. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you, listening and loving you. That's as opposed to what I did the first time around. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you, listening and loving you. I really like, you study guitar, that's cool, so. You're saying I must be Muslim. Actually, I'm probably your cousin. I'm actually Jewish. And Jews are also just as kind. So, you've got this kind of range on the guitar. You can go up to the top, getting those same chords. You can do this. And then I change the chords a little to give a kind of a, there's a bass run going there. Bum, 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 bum. So those are the elements of this song. So I'm going to sing it again. Usually I like to start. Do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything you want to say about this song? You know, some feedback. You're giving me some feedback there already on the Instagram, which is great. Thank you for listening and sharing you study guitar. So that's really good to. I hope that's helping you understand a little bit about the guitar. The guitar is a really, you know, speaking of guitar, people think that guitar is really easy. They get, you know, when you want to pick an instrument, they say, let's play guitar. You can take the guitar with you. You see rock stars, you know, rocking out, just make it so easy. Folk singers look so easy. Folk guitarists, we make it look so easy, but actually, I've been playing guitar for 50 years or more. And, well, maybe it's more, I don't know. But I took lessons in the beginning, and it was not easy. Any instrument that you go to play is not easy. You need to practice it. And you know that old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, if you don't practice, you're not going to get anywhere. And the guitar is the same thing as any other instrument. It's not easy. You've got a left-hand thing going on here, which is playing chords and leads and solos. And you've got a right-hand thing, which is giving it some rhythm and some picking and, you know, whatever else. And you've got two hands doing two different things. You're sitting kind of in a weird position, and it's giving you a really great support system here. And I don't play classical guitar, but it can be like a symphony. I mean, you can really make beautiful music with a guitar, but it takes a lot of work. You can't just go and say, hey, I'm going to play guitar. So usually when I teach guitar, I make sure that people commit to 1 month of lessons. Because first of all, your fingers are going to hurt. I don't know if you can see my fingers. Where is it? There. You know, you get the calluses. You got left hand has short nails and right hand has longer nails, so you can finger pick. Where's the thing there? And so you can pluck on the strings. You got to learn techniques. You got to learn chords, arrangements. You got to learn about the fretboard. You got to learn about the guitar. You got to learn about stringing your guitar. All sorts of things. I mean, it's an instrument. It has its own life and its own needs. It puts forth a good energy, you know, the guitar. And it can do a lot of fun things. And this is, if you're wondering, this is a Little Martin. It's a Little Martin LX1E. I do have it plugged in right now to a little amp, and it gives it a fuller sound. It's a travel guitar. It's a small body guitar. But the nice thing about the Martin, there are many small body guitars out there, and the nice thing about the Martin is that it gives you a real acoustic sound. The fretboard is pretty much a pretty good size, like very similar to a regular size guitar, so your fingers are not squished. Many of those smaller guitars, they're like a ukulele. You gotta really squish your fingers in there. This one gives you the ability to pretty much play almost like a regular guitar. So I really like that about the Little Martin. I like the Little Martin acoustic electric because you can plug it in and get a very loud sound. You can change it with the effects. And I like the smallness of it because you can just take it wherever you need to go. And you don't have to plug it in if you're anywhere else that doesn't have an amp. You can play it like a regular guitar, and it has a pretty good sound. Of course, being a small body guitar, it has a smaller sound, maybe a higher pitched sound than a nice full body guitar, which has a nicer full body sound. But this Little Martin does a good job. That's all I can say. So I'm going to finish off this episode, and maybe I'll do another episode. We'll see. I'm going to finish off this episode. It's short because I guess the song kind of lent itself. As I said, it was very direct. It wasn't a lot to talk about it, and it's very straightforward. It says what it needs to say, and that's the kind of song that many hit songs are like that. They just say what they need to say. It's a personal experience maybe, and very direct. Nobody has to think too hard about it. So that's what this song is. It isn't fair, but it does share a very important sentiment, a very important emotions, that experiences that we go through when we're not feeling so good. So, and we're reaching out. You wish somebody was there. So I'll play it again, and with that we'll end this particular session, and I might choose a more upbeat song to continue one more session. We'll see what happens. So I thank you for being with me today. I was kind of feeling down because there's so much rain here. It's been raining for like 3 weeks. I don't know. It's like flooding everywhere, and the walls are starting to get wet. I'm starting to see some mold, which drives me crazy. So I got to call the landlord and tell him about that. So you can't help it. It's so wet. It's just so wet. So with the rain comes its own problems. So it isn't fair. Okay. It isn't fair, feeling all alone and so down. It isn't fair when the world seems pieces on the ground. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you. Listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. It isn't fair growing up in a world that seems so cold. It isn't fair when a heart so young feels so old. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you. Listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. Dry your eyes, look at me, I am here for you. Listening and loving you. You're not alone. Hold me, dear. Hold me, dear. Hold me, Hi, Rachel, if you're still there. Good to see you. I haven't yet talked about singing and vocals. I really consider myself a instrumentalist more than a singer. I love harmony singing, and I was a harmony singer for the longest time, and then when I had my kids, I didn't have a lot of time to join in bands and things, so I became a soloist. And having to become a soloist was very scary. Actually, singing my own songs was scary because it was my personal life that I was putting out there for everyone to know about. And using my voice, I know the theory, but I did take some voice lessons. You need to learn your upper range, your lower range, how to sort of manipulate all of that stuff. And it wasn't actually until I started listening to K-pop, and oddly enough, because I didn't know the language, I started singing along phonetically or just la-la-las or whatever, and I started paying attention to how my voice was working and how I was reaching certain notes or not reaching others, or what my range was. And that really helped me in singing, surprisingly enough. So you really have a lot to learn vocally as well. I used to think that vocalists were divas. They're always worried about, are my teeth clean? And, they're doing those funny exercises before they sing, these crazy things. And of course you have to warm up your voice, and you have to stay physically fit, which I'm not. And because when you do vocals, your whole body is is your instrument, basically. And if you're not physically fit, you can't really get your voice to do what it needs to do. So that is a fact. So actually I'm ending this particular episode. This is episode 12 of Songcatching. I'm going to put the lyrics of the song, and actually this song is not recorded, so this is the only place you're going to hear this song. There are many other songs on my website, rahelmusic.com, RAHEL music.com. When you go there, you can click on a link that says download, and it'll bring you to my Bandcamp site, and there is a lot of music there that you can actually download for 1,001 for $1, or you can download a whole album, a few albums, and that helps support the artist, of course, obviously. And or you can just listen for free. Of course, music is also there for free, and preferably you're going to give a donation, but you can hi, way back Chia, and you can also give a donation if you just want to give a donation. There's a PayPal link there. And so, wow, all you people are just joining right now. Maybe I should, I feel bad. Actually, I'll close this episode and go to another episode. If you come back in about 15 minutes, I'm going to prepare another song and do that. Maybe a more upbeat song, I don't know. So this is episode 12 of my Songcatching series. It'll be on IGTV, Instagram TV, and also on Facebook, and also my YouTube, which is Rahel Sings, RAHELSINGS, Rahel Sings. And what else can I tell you? I'm here in South Korea doing all of this. I'm also known as Acoustic Breezes Rahel, so there's a couple of sites under that name too. And thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of it. And how do you do waves back? I don't know how you do these things, but I'm waving back in real life. Waving back in real life. So I'm going to close down this session with that song called It Isn't Fair. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. Come back in about 15 minutes and I'll play you another song. We'll do episode 13 of my Songcatching series. So I hope to see you back in 15 minutes. Thank you everybody for coming. Take care. Don't postpone joy. Again, don't postpone joy. Take care everyone.